what's up, y'all? It's Dr. Paul, Liberty Hill Comics. We got another mail call / market report here. This is really an incredible book. It is a book that I've been hunting for over 2 decades, and I just found a really incredible pedigree copy of this book, and I think y'all are going to be, hopefully, if you're just half as excited as I am, you're going to be very, very excited to see this book. This seller has elected to put a box inside a box, so hold on just a moment. I applaud their diligence in getting me this book safely, but it will take an extra moment to open. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Pull up a seat. We got a lot of fun stuff going on. I'm Dr. Paul Kosnick. This is my channel, Liberty Hill Comics, and we do a lot of unboxings like this. We take the opportunity of doing unboxings to do market reports, and that's what we're going to be doing today. I also do full-on comic book conservation projects, and I do a lot of videos on those as well. If either of those things interest you, please give this video a like, tell a friend about the channel, leave me a comment, let's have a conversation. If you get a chance to subscribe, I'd very much appreciate it. And that way you'll see my content as soon as I put it out. Holy smokes. Look at this. Wow. Well, what is it and why do we care? This is, of course, Batman 232 from June of 1971. This is the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul. It's written and drawn by the famous duo who are credited with ushering in the Bronze Age, Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. And it's edited by the man responsible for the dawn of the Silver Age, Julius Schwartz. This comic introduces one of Batman's most compelling antagonists and has the fingerprints of 3 of the most talented and influential comic book creators of the last 70 years. It has always been highly sought after, and I have personally been searching for just the right copy of this book to add to my personal collection for over 20 years. And I think this is just the right copy. When it came on the market this week in the middle of a bear market, I could not pass up the opportunity to own it, and just seeing it right now, it is stunning. I hope this is coming across on the camera. It is just stunning looking. Frankly, it looks a lot higher than a 9.4. Gorgeous. What makes this copy so special, though, is that it's from the personal collection of Murphy Anderson. And that's why it has this special pedigree label, which we'll talk about in a little bit. If you don't know who Murphy Anderson is, he was a penciler and inker whose career spanned over 5 decades. He won numerous awards for his contributions to our beloved hobby. He began as a penciler for Fiction House during World War II. He served in the Navy with a stateside post during the war, and because he was stateside, he was able to continue to work as an artist. He worked for many of the Golden Age comic publishers, including Pines, which was a Neater company. And if you follow the channel, you know that I'm big on the Neater books from the World War II period. He worked for Ziff Davis, DC, and for Atlas, which was the Marvel Comics imprint of the 50s. It was during the 50s and 60s at DC that he did the work that he's best known for. His credits include the designer of Adam Strange's iconic costume. He, along with Gardner Fox, brought Hawkman into the Silver Age with a new sci-fi look and origin under the direction of Julius Schwartz. While on Hawkman, he co-created Zatanna with Gardner Fox, and he designed her look. Some of the iconic covers to key, big, huge Silver Age key comic books that he either penciled or inked include the cover to Brave and the Bold 28, which is the introduction of the Justice League of America in January 1960. Justice League of America #1 from October 1960 with that much homaged famous chest cover. One of my personal favorites is the cover to Justice League #12 with the great introduction of Dr. Light. And that was June 1962. He also brought us Hawkman #1, the first self-titled Hawkman series in April 1964. He brought us Showcase #60, first Spectre in the Silver Age from February 1966. And then Spectre #1, the first self-titled Spectre comic book from November 1967. And Showcase #55, which is a really fun one. It's the first Silver Age appearance of the Golden Age Green Lantern, as well as the first Silver Age appearance of Solomon Grundy. It's also Grundy's 5th overall appearance, and it's only his 3rd cover appearance in history. He only has 4 appearances in the Golden Age with 2 cover appearances. While Murphy Anderson's heyday as a creator was probably in the 60s, his career spanned into the 90s, and he's rightly been placed in all 3 of the comic book creator halls of fame. While Murphy Anderson didn't personally work on Batman 232, this was his personal file copy of Batman 232. He kept copies of many comics as reference material, and when he passed away, his file collection was designated as a pedigree by CGC. Thus, this beautiful tuxedo label on this 9.4 beauty. If you don't know what pedigree collections are, they're special collections recognized by CGC as exceptional and recognized for their significance with the pedigree status and the special tuxedo label. CGC has specific rules for what they will and won't recognize as a pedigree, and to date, they've only given the pedigree designation to 61 collections. Pedigrees are sought after by the collector community, and typically comic books from pedigree collections will command a premium over a non-pedigree copy of the same grade, same book. I've discussed before on the channel how once you've built a significant comic book collection, once you've completed full runs of your favorite books and you've owned a lot of the significant keys, you start to look for ways to differentiate your collection from others. You become a more discerning collector. You start to think of yourself as a curator of a comic book collection rather than just a collector. And you want to find significant books that tell a story or that none of your comic book friends own. With over 60 long boxes in my collection, I'm in that mode now. So when I saw the Murphy Anderson pedigree copy of Batman 232 offered for sale, I jumped at the chance to own it. Now, Batman 232 is not a rare book. There are nearly 2,700 universal copies in the CGC census and nearly 500 signature series copies in the census, and there are not any variants. So if you're a discerning collector and you want your copy to stand out in a crowd, you want to flex on your nerd friends, you generally either want a very high grade copy or maybe a signature series book or an error printing. Batman 232 is difficult in high grade. The median grade is 7.5, but a 9.4 like this one is in the 13th percentile for highest graded books in the census. When I'm trying to look for discerning copies, I tend to look at the 20th percentile as a cutoff point for being essentially a high grade. If a book is in the 20th percentile in the CGC census, I consider it to be high grade and it's something that will stand out. But I did a lot better than that. This is the Murphy Anderson pedigree copy, and it's also 13th percentile. Most pedigrees are from the Golden Age, some span into the Silver, and a few span into the Bronze Age. Because so few pedigrees actually have Bronze Age comics in them, this is likely the only pedigree copy of Batman 232 ever slabbed by CGC. I don't know that for a fact, and if somebody knows about another Batman 232 in pedigree, I'd love to hear about it, but I think it's likely this is the only pedigree of Batman 232 in the world. This exact copy sold at auction at Heritage earlier this year in February for $2,880 plus buyer's premium, so a little bit over $3,000. A non-pedigree 9.4 sold last year in August for $3,250 plus shipping and taxes on eBay, so that's about $3,500. So when I got the opportunity to purchase this copy for $2,500 plus tax, I jumped at it. I know this is an embarrassment of riches. A lot of people, that's more money than they could spend on a comic book, and I'm very privileged and humbled to be able to spend that much money on a comic book. But as a discerning collector, I'm always looking for ways to upgrade my personal collection and or add a rarity to it that other collectors haven't seen. So for me, I just couldn't be happier about adding this Bronze Age mega key in a high grade pedigree to my personal collection. I'm really over the moon. I hope you can tell, and I hope I'm not being too emotional about it, but it really is something that I've worked for over 2 decades, and to be able to acquire something like this really is something that as a child I just dreamt about. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the significance of Murphy Anderson, the fair market value of pedigree comic books, and things to think about as you evolve as a comic book collector and start to curate your collection. The current bear market has created huge opportunities to acquire some truly unique pieces at discounted prices, and I intend to continue to take advantage of it. Until next time, happy hunting and take care of one another.